film's own status as film's representation is always depending on something else. Okay? Other ways that this might take place would be the use of voiceovers to explain something that is happening. The use of dreams within the film to suggest before something else. Let's also suggest that the technical equipment of cinema, camera, film stock, projector, often become fetish objects for cinephiles and for film theorists alike, in the sense that the technical equipment operates as a fetish for cinema as a whole. And again, I suppose a more recent example of this would be special effects. I don't know if anyone knows this really, really awful film called Matrix. Everyone knows Matrix. And why is Matrix so? Matrix is so famous for its special effects. The complete fetishization of the virtuosity able to create these special effects. That's really awful. And the second and third ones get worse as it goes along. They're unwatchable. They're terrible, terrible films. But the special effects themselves have become fetishized. You remember the one wars special effects. It spent more money on special effects than any other film at the time. These become fetishized objects, fetishized parts of the cinema, for the institution as a whole. Now, more recently, in more recent work, and again this is drawing on the work of Slavoj Žižek, who was mentioned earlier, and we'll talk about in a couple of times next time. Slavoj Žižek was working extensively on psychoanalysis and cinema, and in particular using concepts like fetishism, fantasy, watching, drawing on the work of Lacan. Another critic who writes very interestingly on this is British critic Elizabeth Cowley. Now, Cowley continues Lex's line of thinking on fetishism, but manages to avoid many of the pitfalls of passive spectatorship in the male gaze that got earlier conceptions of cinematic fetishism, like the work of Max or the work of Lacan. Fetishism arises as a result of the process of disavowal, as I just said, and is related to fantasy and the subject's remodeling reality. In this sense, fetishism is not about particular objects or images or representations. It's not that, I have a fetish for shoes or for locks of hair or for particular objects. It's not about the objects themselves, but about a general structure of seeing, that is, a general structure of representation. Then all this feedback comes to myself, and something we've done about this technology. I've got an echo coming.
Can you turn off the microphones?
No. Thank you. Okay. Now, in psychoanalysis, the structure of fetishism involves three steps. First, a process of disavowal. For psychoanalysis, this is the disavowal of sexual difference and the trauma of the real in the thinking. Second, a process of displacement through an overinvestment in the object that has been displaced from its proper use, which now appears to have magical properties. So, first of all, with psychoanalysis, you disavow, as a first step, you disavow the initial sort of reason for fetishism developing. That is displaced, disappeared. That gets displaced, transferred onto an object. I mentioned shoes earlier. You all know about shoe fetishes. The shoe stands, part stands for the whole. The shoe comes to stand in for the woman who was wearing the shoe or whatever. So we displace all the erotic desires that we have for this person and we invest these erotic desires into the object, into the shoe. Third, there is a process of substitution by which some original object is replaced by another to constitute the fetish object I just mentioned. For Calloway, fetishism is a work in filmic representation through these three processes: disavowal, displacement, and substitution. For example, through a film's mise-en-scène and the way in which objects are foregrounded. Again, I said earlier, you've got to think about the film not as something in the film frame is not accidental. Everything's placed there for a reason. The composition of the mise-en-scène is very precise. So if we have particular colours, if we have particular objects, if we have particular arrangements of things, they are all there to foreground certain images, certain colours, certain symbols. Okay? This is not accidental. It is also present through repetition of visual emphasis. When objects are displaced in their proper function and can own the value in the narrative. Again, we can all think of, again, the very famous kind of films like Maltese Falcon, for example, where Falcon itself becomes the object around which the whole film takes place. What are often called Hitchcock's MacGuffins. Okay, these objects which the films are structured around, but they actually have no point at the end of it. So, you know, the Maltese Falcon, everyone is chasing after this falcon, everybody's trying to kill each other, trying to get hold of this Maltese Falcon, and when they get it at the end, it is entirely worthless. It's a joke. It is not the object that everyone thought it was, and they've been chasing, you know, what we thought they were actually chasing something else all the time. Again, it's the repetition of this image within it which allows us to see it as a particular kind of object. Cinema also disavows its own preconditions, making present what will become absent again in the next moment. A narrative film must also deny its own knowledge in order to generate narrative suspense and expectation. Of course, the people who make a film know what is going to happen at the end. You cannot, and this is what narrative theory tells us, you must know the ending before you can start the beginning. Right? The ending always comes first. But for us as spectators to be able to enjoy this, and for us to allow ourselves to be immersed in this, we have to suspend that knowledge. We have to believe this is all taking place as if no one knows what's going on. So again, we have a suspension of knowledge and the replacement of it with belief. These procedures produces a doubling of meaning and eroticized representation to the extent that any object can become a sexual signifier. Any object can be fetishized. Harry concludes that a film does not produce a fetish object, or even a series of objects in some sort of hierarchy which may be taken up by male or viewing subjects, already psychically constructed to fetishize. Fetishes are always male. Women are not fetishes. This is in terms of classical psychoanalysis, but there's a very good book called Female Fetishism, which came out in 1994, which argues the contrary. Okay, there's a lot of feminist work on the women fetishize as well these days. Classical Freudianism and Lacanianism, the fetish is always male. Always a man. There's no such meeting of fetishes and fetish in cinema. Rather, insofar as it presents to us objects in relation of substitution and displacement, cinema fetishizes them. As a mode of representation, it fetishizes all objects. Moreover, this process is open to both male and female spectators, and does not inevitably assign a cinematic gaze to a male spectator, contrary to earlier feminist work in the 1970s that I mentioned earlier. From a psychoanalytic perspective, the idea of fetishism is inseparable from the mechanism